Okay, this is take 3, I think. I tried to do 2 videos on YouTube and they didn't work. So here we are on Facebook Live. This is the full moon forecast for the next 2 weeks by house and sign. I am in the process, and maybe that is why I'm having some tech issues. I'm in the middle of uploading a video I recorded earlier when I was outside on Rush Limbaugh. So maybe I'm just expecting too much from technology today, especially with Mercury going into retrograde. But I did want to go over, yeah, the full moon has come and gone, obviously, but I did want to go over briefly with you guys the forecast, because it is a 2-week forecast. It's not just the full moon. So I kind of just wanted to go over things before I post it. Let's see. Here we go. Let me bring it up. But anyway, we had a very beautiful full moon on the 8th and the 9th a few days ago. And this was in a Leo. It was a Leo super moon. And this energy was all about love, romance, children, creativity. It's about entertainment, pleasure, joy, going to concerts, theater, sporting events even. Very hedonistic sign, very hedonistic placement, as Leo does love a good time. They love celebration and anything that brings them joy and pleasure. This also refers to affairs of the heart, since it's love and romance. This is children issues, leadership roles, tapping into your creative side. This is also, since we are in the wanting phase now, it's bringing successful completions to things and successful endings. I did say over the weekend, this past weekend would be a good time for get-togethers, barbecues, and when I said barbecues, I forget there's people on the East Coast going, barbecue? What the hell is she talking about? I know you guys are in snow, but here in California, we barbecue in the winter. And so that's what I meant by that. Just get together with friends and family would usually bring you a good time and bring you lots of joy and pleasure, along with any kind of entertainment events that you've went to over the weekend. The only negative here, and I bring this up now, is because now that the moon is waning, even though it's moved into another moon, it's in another moon phase, the full moon energy is still there. And this is on Leo. Leo represents children. So after this full moon, you need to be extremely careful and cautious with your children. Watch them like hawks. Especially when this energy goes into its platonic phase on February 13th, 14th, and 15th. This is very dangerous energy, especially for children. You'll see more headlines in the news about sex trafficking rings, children being abducted, children disappearing, rapes, murders of children, car accidents with children. Children will hit the news, will make the headlines. It's unfortunate, but the stars are both cruel and kind, just like nature. Children will be the most vulnerable, so watch them like a hawk, as I repeat myself once again. This also means that affairs of the heart might come up on issues. Valentine's Day is on the 14th, so even though modern astrology states that it's retrograde on the 16th, ancient astrology states otherwise. We'll talk about that a little more in my broadcast, but where was I going to go with that? You know what? I highly recommend you obtain this book. In fact, I put it in my newsletter. This tells you exactly when the moon phases are, and it's only about $10 through Llewellyn's. It's a very good deal, and it really keeps you in tune with the fluctuations of the moon and the energy that's going through it. You refer to it to know when the moon is full, when the moon is new, when the moon is 3/4, 1/4, not 3/4, 3/4, things like that. It has a lot of important information in it. And right now I think it is only about $10. What else? Let me scroll down here. Like we were talking about with Mercury going retrograde, modern astrology states that it's not till the 16th, but it is actually here. It happened on the 9th. Ancient astrology, when modern astrology states it's going in on the 16th, ancient astrology usually goes into effect 7 to 10 days before that date and 7 to 10 days after. I only put in 7 before and 7 after. Modern astrology, modern astrologers use, fancy words like pre-shadows, foreshadows, but we're in it and it's here. And this is going to last all the way until March 15th. This is going to create all sorts of havoc on the planet. Anything dealing with travel, transportation, car accidents, chain reaction accidents, traffic jams, electronics, which I experienced this afternoon with my camera and my computer. This is delays. This is, tragedies in some ways. Delays at airports. You'll notice lots of delays due to chaotic weather. If you have to travel in Mercury retrograde, expect delays. Sometimes we can't avoid it. It's happened to me as well. This energy also represents bird energy and wind energy. So there'll be a lot more wind. And this is communication in general, misunderstandings, and also being misunderstood. Now is the time for all of us, myself included, to be absolutely crystal clear in my instructions or your instructions, with our direction, with the information that's coming out of our mouths. We really have to think about what is coming out of our mouth. Repeat, re-repeat, reiterate, make yourself completely clear, and so we can avoid those misunderstandings, which come Valentine's Day, you're going to see a lot of lovers' quarrels. You're going to see a lot of misunderstandings. Valentine's Day isn't going to be fun for a great many couples. Just saying. Just repeat and make sure you have it right. Like I said earlier, avoid traveling if possible. Do not purchase any new cars. This is not blessed under new cars and new electronics. Used is okay. I bought a great car under this energy before, and it was a used car, and I actually still have it, and it still runs and it still works great. So do not sign any kind of major contracts. Now, this is a very difficult one for a great many people because the Mercury is retrograde. It's also retrograding in Pisces, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But when it retrogrades, new cars and stuff are blessed by this. Not new, used electronics. So if you want to go and buy a used laptop, fine, perfect. Used car, perfect. Signing contracts, now this is a little tricky because they say, oh, no signing any contracts in a Mercury retrograde. Well, we have about 5 weeks of this retrograde in reality, from now until March 15th. That is a long time. I'm going to have to be signing some contracts here and there for things. My best advice is to avoid signing those contracts between now and the next new moon, which I believe is on the 25th. Hold on, let me go look. 23rd in Pisces. So once the 23rd rolls around, even though we're in a Mercury retrograde, if you have to sign a contract, that would be the better time to do it. Sometimes signing the contracts are unavoidable. If you can avoid it in the waning moon, perfect. Understand though that this planet is, this planet is in retrograde, and it's in the sign of Pisces. Pisces in its negative state is deception, it's illusions, it's delusions, it's escapism. It's addiction, it's drugs, it's alcohol, it's not just institutions, but hospitals, jails. This is the oil industry, and this energy creates confusion, it creates misunderstandings. The mental process moves at a little bit slower pace, especially being in Pisces. Pisces is very intuitive and it's positive. It's very divine. It has divine energy and divine spirit. It's about higher consciousness and clairvoyance. But in its negative state, it is about a fog, being kind of fogged over, being in a dream world, not processing the information correctly, or it taking longer for us to process this information, a little slower pace. So two factors here with Mercury retrograde in Pisces: either the mouth goes faster than the mind, or the mind goes faster than the mouth, depending on the soul and their celestial makeup. But like I said, in its positive state, it's about high intuition. And if there's any of you out there with a strong Pisces energy, then over the weekend you were at a, what's the word I'm looking for? Over the weekend, you guys were at a more of a disadvantage if you are a psychic. That energy is past, and then it's full steam ahead. But I had mentioned in my newsletter not to purchase any kind of psychic work until this energy has passed. I'm not saying that our psychics aren't, even our own psychics don't realize that there are certain times of the month during the stars when we should not be doing anything because we're not getting the messages correctly. Psychics are not perfect, they're human. And it's very important that psychics, I don't have a whole lot of respect for too many psychics who don't follow the stars, because that's divine messages. If you're a psychic and you follow the stars, and you're an incredible psychic most of the time. But remember, with this energy, psychics can also have illusions and delusions and not read your reading correctly. This goes for myself too, with astrology readings and tarot readings. Over the weekend, I didn't do any kind of work except for some spell work that I did on a full moon. Other than that, I put everything on the back burner, because when I do a reading on someone, as an intuitive astrologer, I also channel your stars and I meditate on them. And that in that energy, I might have gotten the wrong answers, and the confusion of Mercury retrograde being there just would have created a bad reading. So there are a few times out of the month I know when to say, hey, it's time for a timeout. If it's all about money with you, then you don't care. You have no integrity for your business or your clients. Simply put, if you care about your business, if you care about your clients, then you will read the jurisdiction of the stars and how they're reading, and know the red and green lights to proceed forward. And this comes with anybody in that path of psychic, metaphysician, astrologer, occultist. There are certain days of the month, usually 3 times out of the month, we are at our lowest vibrations and should not be practicing any magic, doing any readings, or channeling any kind of spirits. So just a little something I've learned through the years doing divine astrology. Hi, Felicia. Okay, on to my magical folk. I always put a paragraph in my newsletters for my magical folk, my witches, my sorcerers, my broom sisters, as I call it. And you knew all about the Leo full moon and what the energy brought for the weekend. So I know a lot of my broom sisters did a lot of magic for love and strength and dominance, children, protection of children, even fertility spells. I had said in my last newsletter that even though this is more of a barren sign, it still rules children and can be very powerful for conjuring up some sort of magic for fertility and birth. For ailments of the back, spine, and heart. This also includes the mending of a broken heart. So on the full moon, you could have done a mend a broken heart spell. It would have been perfect and blessed under these stars. It's very powerful for spells of this purpose. Now, granted, it's been a couple of days. The full moon was on the 8th and the 9th. We're on the 10th now, and we still are in the energy of the full moon, because this full moon fell on 2 different dates for different people. Here on the West Coast, it was at 11 o'clock at night. the East Coast and across the pond, as I call it, they woke up to the full moon, or it was at 2:33 in the morning over there. So a lot of people did their magic last night when the moon was full. So this energy is lasting for about 72 hours. And that is about it for my magical folk. And I'm going to get ready to go through the forecast by house and sign really quick. Like I said, Platonic phase is moving into effect the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. And yeah, technically, I probably should have put this in my newsletter as days of caution. I will do that in my next one, even though it's going to hit when I do it's going to hit like the third day into my next newsletter. I might just do a little warning on that day for everybody, but you'll see things in the news about the police. Either the police getting killed or the police killing someone. The men in blue will be very busy during this time. Platonic phases usually bring out the darker, eviler side of people, especially if people are more ruled by a Platonic chart in their stars. This always takes on energy of the mafia, the CIA, but this is also the sex industry. And earlier in my broadcast, I said to keep an eye on the children. This has to do with sex. Pluto is sexual energy, and it's the 8th house, and it rules the 8th house, which is Scorpio, which is metaphysics. It's witchcraft residue. It's inheritance, it's legacy, it's life, death, rebirth, transformation. So with that moon going full in Leo and that energy representing children, I think children are going to make the headlines, and not in a good way. And it breaks my heart to say that. It's not something I want to happen. God knows I adore children. That's what I do for a living, is work with kids. So the last thing I would ever want is to see a child harmed. But like I said, watch your kids. If it's my best advice to any of you out there listening that have young children, don't just let them go play in the streets, because there's predators lurking. And they're at their highest energy come the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th. Watch the news and see what happens. That's all. The news is always my best confidant. Anyway, on to something a little more positive. That is just a little warning. That's not me trying to scare you, but the stars themselves read positive and negative. Sometimes reading the stars is a blessing and a curse for me, because I have to come on here and reiterate it to all of you. And I sometimes have to choose my words really wisely, not to freak everybody out, but I have to tell you the truth, what they're reading. If they're reading positive, I'll let you know that. If they're reading negative, I'm going to let you know that too. It's like nature. Nature is cruel and kind. That's why I'm not a believer in white magic, because magic is both cruel and kind, just like nature. There's no such thing. There's always those shades of gray. Okay, your forecast by house and sign. We're going to start with Aries. And Aries, now this is going to be cruising your, let's see, this is cruising your 5th house. This is your house of love, romance, and children. It's in Leo. So issues and stress are going to come from children, affairs of the heart, relationship issues maybe. There's going to be some much needed changes in all of these areas. And if you don't make those changes, Aries, the stars will force you to make those changes. You're going to have to be strong, but you must deal with this energy as positive as you can. Okay? Important decisions. This is for Taurus now. And Taurus, this is affecting your 4th house of home, family, real estate, emotions, and your mother or a mother figure. And important decisions in regards to all of these matters are coming for you. There will be some high emotion with some issues, and you may have to pay more attention or take more time out to tend to your mother or a mother figure in your family. Gemini, this energy is going to be affecting your 3rd house. That's your house of communication, mental process, short trips. And this is going to be a struggle for you a little bit, Gemini, because Mercury has gone retrograde and Mercury is your ruling planet. Some Geminis can handle this energy really well, and so can Virgos, because their ruling planet's Mercury too. And then there's others that can't handle it quite as well. It would all depend on your natal chart. If you were born in a Mercury retrograde, you kind of seem to go through the retrogrades a little bit better, I've noticed. That's just my own observation. I can't speak for myself because I am born in a Mercury retrograde, and I always crack this joke with all my placements. I always say to people, oh, if we're not having any radio trouble, or we're not doing this, or we're not doing that. Oh, but you haven't met Linda yet. Linda is the walking Mercury retrograde. So if anyone can have tech issues, it's this gal. And I'm just programmed by my stars like that. Back to Gemini, though, it's very important you stay as grounded as possible, Gemini. Issues will arise with change of plans, delays, rescheduling something. Maybe you made some sort of a trip that has to be rescheduled. Children and family matters, and even miscommunication will be on the agenda for many Geminis. So just be aware of that. Then we go to Cancer. And Cancer, this is going to affect your second house. This is your house of wealth and possessions. This is your money house. This is also self-esteem. And there's going to be some financial stress coming in the next 2 weeks. You may have to spend money against your will or have a few unexpected expenses. Try and stay positive, because the next full moon that comes is this beautiful Pisces full moon or new moon that enters in a few weeks. And this is going to make all of our water signs very lucky and very intuitive. So this next 2 weeks might be difficult for Cancer, but know that there is a beautiful silver lining at the end of this. Leo, no, this full moon is right on you, Leo. So I want you, Leo, to let go of your past, because there is no future there. You need to move forward. And I know a lot of Leos that have had a lot of health issues in the past 18 months. My own child included, who's Leo. Her health issues were a little more minor because she's younger. She had to have foot surgery over summer because she's had some feet issues. And, you know, so I was explaining that to her the other day about her stars. But it's because of where the stars were. I go, it could have been worse. But then I was looking at some of the Hollywood celebrities like Madonna. I think Madonna's kind of lost her mind. But she has had to cancel all these shows. What sign is she? Leo. So better health and clarity is ahead, Leo. Just a few more months and this energy is going to get out of your 6th house and move. And it'll be better. You'll get healthier. You'll regain your health. Just a few more months and things will start to get better for Leo in the health department. This can also represent for Leo not just health, but service to the world. So if you're in a job you don't like, change is coming. Okay, just be positive and be patient. Virgo, dreams will have greater meaning for you right now, Virgo. This is all about your subconscious mind and your 12th house. So higher consciousness and insight will prevail. You must listen to your inner voice right now. Don't self-doubt yourself, Virgo. Listen to that inner voice inside you. And the only thing I would say about this is to beware of hidden enemies, because you do have them. And just be careful for that, because those hidden enemies, you don't know who they are, you don't know that they exist, but they do not have your best interest at heart. So use your dreams. Those of you that are Virgo and can dream, and listen to them. There's messages in those dreams, especially the next 2 weeks. Okay. Libra, this is going to affect your 11th house. Your 11th house is friends and social status, and it's also wishes in some way. And at this time, wishes will not be granted for Libra. In the next 2 weeks, there might be a bit of an epiphany coming in your social circles. Friends might stab you in the back now, and it might be time these next 2 weeks to really take a long look at your social life and the friends you keep. Some of them aren't really your friends. Scorpio. This is going to affect your 10th house. Your 10th house is career, it's accomplishments, it's public standing. It also represents father figure. Your career might be in the spotlight. There might be abrupt changes coming to your career, an ending of a job and a beginning of a new one. Hard decisions will have to be made in all these areas of your work life. This can also represent affairs of the heart as well, because Leo, we just had the Leo full moon, and that energy of love is still there. So there might be some issues with that as well. Now, Sagittarius, this is going to be affecting your 9th house. Yeah, 9th house. And issues with love and romance might have to be addressed in some way. Your 9th house represents higher learning. It represents long trips, travel, foreigners, foreign lands. Plans might have to be changed, canceled, or postponed. You may have to reschedule that class you wanted to take or that continuing education. This can also bring added stress with the children, since it was just past a Leo full moon. What else can I say? Well, I think I've said enough. I've said it all. Just realize, sometimes children can put added stress in our lives, and that's why they're children. Hang in there, Sag. All right, Capricorn. Now, Capricorn, possible news of a legacy or a death. Wait, don't freak out on me. This can also mean the death of a situation or even an investment coming to a beginning or an ending. Preferably an ending. You don't want to begin any kind of investments in a waning moon. Hopefully this is all in an indirect way and you're not directly affected, but this also represents inheritance. It represents joint finances. It's the intimacy house. It represents taxes and investments. This is not the time to invest, but you are going to hear some sort of news coming about a death of somebody you once knew, or even a legacy of some sort. It can also mean a situation. I'm going to use myself as a perfect example because I don't want my Capricorns to freak out. Okay. I know when I say the D word, death, everyone goes, what? Death? I know. The D word's a little bit scary, death. But for some, not all. But I'm going to use myself as an example about what I just said, these 2 sentences that I said for your forecast. Obviously, I have 2 more weeks of this energy for any of these things to come at me, whether it's death news or about a legacy of someone. But the death of a situation or an investment, without me saying too much about things, I got confirmation today that a situation I'm dealing with real estate is coming to an end and finished. So for me, this is a positive, even though, and I started this whole adventure in good stars. So this is the end of something and the beginning of something new for me. So that it can be something as minor as that, Capricorn. Just remember that. And I'm hoping whatever comes your way, it's in an indirect way and not directly affected. Okay, Aquarius. Aquarius, this is getting ready to affect your 7th house. 7th house is the house of marriage. It's the house of partnerships and contracts. This is business partners as well as domestic. And your business and your domestic life are going to see some changes soon. If things aren't working, it might be time to move forward and onward. You just have to give it a little time. This is a testing period for the next 2 weeks. And if there is any problems in your business life or in your domestic life that you want to change, or rid yourself of these 2 weeks. I can't talk today. Blah. See what I mean? Mercury retrograde communication. These are the next 2 weeks to make those needed changes and get the ball rolling onto something better. Okay, Pisces. Now, Pisces. This is the time to focus on health matters and better working environment. The 6th house is health. It is service to the world. Positive changes are ahead, Pisces, but you have to put in the time to see those results. I want you to look at something with me. Count down from 6 if you're a March Pisces, okay? This pertains more to a March Pisces than a February Pisces. March, April, May, June, July, August, the 6th house. We just had the Leo full moon. Leo rules the heart. I know a lot of Pisces who have heart issues. I know a lot of Pisces who pass away from heart complications. My uncle, who was a Pisces, had some heart issues. He's been gone many years now, but listen to your body, Pisces. The stars want you around for a long, long time. Get that checkup, get the cholesterol checked, get the old ticker checked out, and be there, be in the world. We want you to be happy and healthy. So if there are little signals in your body telling you, oh, that's aches and pains, that those need to be addressed. Don't put it off, okay? And I'm wishing everyone a great week ahead. I am running my 72-hour new moon special from February 8th till the 11th, which is tomorrow at midnight. And if you miss out on that, President's Day is this weekend, and I'll be running another 72-hour special for that. And usually my readings are 100 and they're at 50% off. So, and I run these quite often. Lately I've been running them often because was very bad over the holidays and didn't run any specials for anybody. So with that being said, I think I am all done with my forecast, and I'm uploading right now The Stars and Fate of Rush Limbaugh. I know you guys have been waiting for that. I decided to do that outside. That's going up on my YouTube channel. Hopefully it has a good recording. Like I said, this is my 3rd take after going on YouTube and watching my video play back. I had to delete it. It was just the recording did not meet my standards. And yeah, there's always minor glitches and whatnot, but once I move, I'm going to be switching internet companies because this is ridiculous. I'm not going to mention who I'm with, but I'm not happy with them. And that is my forecast. I will be back on here probably tomorrow or the next day with some more videos and information. Hey, Rev Deb, how are you? Throw a shout out to everybody. And I should get back on here in the next day or two. Like I said, I have a lot going on, and I took Sunday off because I had a lot of spell work to do, and I also wanted to relax. It was the full moon, and I wanted to enjoy that full moon as well. So I took care of some business, but mostly stayed off YouTube and Facebook as much as possible yesterday, and got a lot of other work done and had some nice rest and relaxation. But this week I have a very busy week ahead with I Love You Too. Mwah. I have a very busy week ahead with bringing you the presidential debacle, as I call it. No, it's not a debacle, but I have to run the 2020 election for that date and go through the stars of that. And then I've got to run, I already have Donald Trump's in my computer, so I'm not worried about that. I have to run, oh God, what the hell is his name? Buddha something. He's one of the Democratic candidates. Buttigieg, that's it. Oh my God. And I got to run a few more. Bernie Sanders, I think I already have in my vault from 4 years ago when I was doing this 4 years ago. And a couple of others, like I'm not going to waste my time on Joe Biden because he's in last place. I'm not going to waste my time on Klobuchar unless she gets picked as someone's VP. But when you see the Rush Limbaugh video that I posted about him, I do talk about something at the end of that video in regards to the stars and what's coming. And Saturn in Capricorn may have been the season of the witch, and it was a witch's planet and a witch's placement for a great many of us. A lot of us as Broom Sisters got very much in tune with our ancient past and dive deep into the realm of magic. Yep, she's talking about, my friend Rev Deb is talking about the impeachment. I went and looked at his stars, and I couldn't get on the night that they acquitted him. I just didn't have time, but I went and pulled his stars that morning, and I should have got on YouTube or something and said something, but I looked at his stars and I'm going, he's operating on a lucky dragon day. He's going to get acquitted. Stars don't lie. Lucky dragon days. I mean, there are people in this world that can commit murder and get away with it in court if they're in court on their lucky dragon days. Okay. So when I looked at Donald Trump's stars that day, I'm going, he's going to get acquitted. And I had said that the USA would make the news. That was the whole impeachment thing. He got acquitted. The stars don't lie. Whether you like that he got acquitted or not, stars don't lie. They worked in his favor. And that's just the beauty of the stars. Now, I did say that his negative days are coming too. What, 15th, 16th, and 17th. 15th, no. Yes, 15th, 16th, and 17th. You know how many figures and numbers I have running in my head right now? 15th, 16th, and 17th are Donald Trump's negative days for this month. So watch the news and see what happens. I'm sure something is going to happen. I don't know what. I'm not a psychic. I don't know if it's a Nancy Pelosi being a thorn in his side again or someone else. Yes, he is. He is one lucky mofo. I will say that. I mean, I know there's a lot of people pissed off, and I don't want to get too much into politics. I personally, for ratings and TV and making money, they should have had witnesses just to make extra money, you know, but that's corporate media. But yeah, so I do have to go through some of the politicians. Now, I will say this because I have looked at Donald Trump's stars just recently in the last 48 hours. And I kind of went and jumped ahead to November 3rd of 2020. Like I said, that's why I have to run all these Democrats charts because the day that the election hits, and I kind of want to save this for my video on this, but I have some people in here and I have their attention and they're some of my favorite clients. So I want to reiterate this. So November 3rd, 2020, we are in a Mercury retrograde, which is going to be some sort of a debacle with the election. I'm not sure what yet, but anytime Mercury's in retrograde during an election, there's usually chaos, recount, something is going to happen. But he is operating on his lucky dragon day that day for election. So he has a strong possibility to get reelected. And I'm coming from a spiritual place. I'm not coming from a political place because those who know me know I'm not his biggest fan. I have said before, he's done a few good things. There are some good things that he has done. And I think that's why he was so popular. Yeah, like I said before, you can't have Democrat without Republican. You can't have liberal without conservative. There are polarities. And I think that's why he became so popular, is because he thought outside the box. He did things very differently. And then you go to the liberal side. This is why there's this whole Bernie thing going on. And this is, two very different men, both think outside the box. Okay, I'm not comparing the two, but what I'm trying to say is this is why both of them for both parties had become very popular, because they were different. They talked outside the box. Obviously, one is the complete opposite of the other, but that's why both were very popular. And I'm noticing in media right now we're dealing with cheating, and this is in the Democratic Party right now. I'm speaking of the Democratic Party. They are known for stealing their primaries. Republican Party usually does it not in the primary, but in the main election. Not all the time. Oh wow! I hope. So Deb is telling me that the video shut down. I hope the rest of you can see me. If so, just give me a thumbs up. Bummer. I'm so sorry, Deb. I'm going to wrap this up soon anyway. But anyway, I've got a lot of charts to run on the presidential candidates, but Donald Trump does have a good chance of getting reelected. Now, if there is a recount, then he will lose that spotlight of those lucky days, and it'll move to another energy. But we shall see what happens. I have to look at Bernie Sanders closely as well and look at his stars. I know he has a dragon's head in Virgo and a tail in Pisces. So he's operating on his positive days. He'll probably win New Hampshire today. I think New Hampshire's today or tomorrow. He's going to win New Hampshire. If he doesn't win New Hampshire, because he's blessed by his stars today to win New Hampshire, if another candidate beats him, like I said, I got to go look at Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren's, and those are the only three I'm doing for Democrats: Bernie, Buttigieg, and Warren. Those are the three, because those are the three in the standings. And then I'll do Trump again, and we'll take it from there. I'm so sorry, Rev Deb, you can't hear this. This won't be my last time on here. I don't know what the hell is technology. Mercury's retrograde, damn it. Anyway, I'm out of here. I got to go cook dinner. I will return in the next day or two. Have a great evening. Ciao.